Stress-free marketing. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to just enjoy and create your marketing strategy without all the stress that usually comes with it? That's why my subtitle is Building a Sustainable Business Without Using Social Media. Now, the one thing I want to say is this is not for everyone. And if what you are doing currently works for you, then keep doing it. If you're on social media and you're into the TikTok and the Instagrams and the short videos and all of that, great. But on the other hand, if you are miserable and overwhelmed with the current marketing strategy you're using, then this may be for you. Okay? So there are hundreds, if not thousands, of ways you can market out there. People do all kinds of unique things and teach all kinds of different things. So what I'm going to speak about today is why I believe there's a better way that may help you. May not be for you, again. But why social media may not be the best option for marketing. Okay? So let's take a look about what social media is all about. Well, for one thing, it's really, really overcrowded. Thousands of people. I can't tell you how many times, and I know you've experienced this, where you go to your social media feed and things are just, it's like boom, boom, boom. And then you go back and try to find something. And it's just so fast, so quick, so dynamic that it's everybody's there, right? You don't have any control over what goes out and what people see. You might have 1,000 followers on your TikTok or Instagram, and you have no idea who's seeing what you put out there. The algorithm, some other entity controls all of that. It's full of ads and shallow clickbait content and off-color content and things that, obviously you don't want your kids to see, and all kinds of things that, again, are just not controllable. Very, very distracting. You've probably experienced this in some way, shape, or form, where your kids, your spouse, or somebody is in front of their phone and they're doing this, and you're like, okay, come on, I'm talking to you. It's just very distracting. There's just so much going on. Low quality interactions. Yeah, it's very, very superficial. It's really hard to really connect and get the connection and that relationship that you really want with your customers. Poor organic reach again, and I'm not sure what the current statistics are, but the last time I looked, like 3% on Instagram, I think, is 3% of your following sees what you put out there, right? So it doesn't really reach. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Maybe, I don't know, but you're not reaching what you really could. People are getting hacked all the time. I work with a group of about 50,000 people, and I can't tell you how many times I see comments about, hey, how do I correct this? I've been kicked off of TikTok, or Instagram has blocked me, and so forth. You don't have any control over it. It comes down to only a few things, right? The algorithm controls it. Another platform controls it. The speed and the crowdedness and everything that's going on there. It's very time intensive. You've got to be on there. You've got to stay up with all the trends. You've got to be interacting with people all the time. You just got to be in the game all the time. So it takes a lot of your time. I remember a few years ago, I was building my network marketing businesses on social media, on Facebook in particular, and it took a good part of my day. Always, commenting and interacting and building those so-called relationships and all that going on. Thinking that, yay, I maxed out my friends, and now people are following me, and that can go forever, and I've got 10,000 people following me on Facebook, and yay, and I don't know how much it helped at all, but it was very, very time intensive. It's not great for driving traffic to outside of what you're doing, right? To your lead magnets maybe, or to your courses or your memberships or anything that's outside of social media, which pretty much everything, right? And it's not real good for your mental health. It's just not good. I mean, for most of us, it is nonstop crazy. I can't tell you how many times I see people saying, "I'm done with this. This is it's driving me crazy," because it does. Not to mention all of the negative, all of the stuff that people feel like they have to say on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, and the negative things that are going on. For me, I just don't believe it's a great thing. Okay, so what happens when you go to no social media? What does that really mean, right? So I know a lot of people, you might miss out on some things. I know we have that FOMO, that fear of missing out, when we see other people that are doing YouTube or doing Facebook Lives and saying, "Yeah, I just started my TikTok and I'm at 30,000 followers already, and well, we're doing this, and we're and you're thinking, oh man, But again, it's just it for me. It took the fun out of building my business. It became very, very intense. It became very, very uncomfortable in what I was doing. You're going to have more focus because you're not spending your day, doing this and doing this and having to stay up on things because something might come by so fast and you might miss it. You might miss some trend. You might miss something that's going on, right? So you can focus on what you really love to do, what your passion is, and talking to your audience. And we're going to get into that more in a minute here. Going to have more energy, right? Because you're not going to be just worn out at the end of the day. I found myself when I was doing Facebook, and that at the end of the day, I was exhausted with all of the comments and connecting and everything that it took to really build what wasn't as great of connection and relationship as I wanted. More time, right? I'm following people now online that just aren't really using social media, and they're only working a few hours a week and making 6 and 7 figures, right? And it's not even about the money. It's about the time. It's about the quality of life that you can have, right? Less stress. I'm not always sitting there worrying about, okay, what's the next new trend and what do I have to do to, be different than everybody else, or a copycat so that it works for me too, and all of that stuff. And a better overall mental health, without question for me. Now, these things may not apply to you. You may love this. You may love, the fast pace of social media. You may love the time that it takes and the energy you have to put in to do all those things. This may not. But if you are at the point where, man, I'm so tired of doing it this way, I'd really like to find a different way to do it, then stay tuned. Okay. So, what is stress-free marketing? When we talk about the secret of, stress-free marketing, what it really means is it's about sharing who you are and what you believe with your audience in a way that feeds your passion, right? What you love to do, and provides value and impacts others. It's not about trends and copying people and fast pace. It's about sharing who you are and what you believe in with an audience that is in tune with that. Okay? So more is not necessarily better. And I know a lot of people think this. I got to have a lot of subscribers. I've got to have a lot of followers, a lot of views, a lot of traffic, and so forth. Well, I'm here to tell you what I'm finding is that is not true. I know someone that's got 500 subscribers on YouTube and is making 30,000 plus a month. I know people that have 1,000 subscribers and are making 6 and 7 figures. It's not necessarily about how many you have, the quantity. Okay? So views and traffic, right? Views don't necessarily mean traffic. So let's say if I have 5,000 subscribers and 1,000 who open my emails and 10 who buy my stuff, that's not that great, right? That's not that great. But what if I had 100 subscribers, 80 who opened my emails, and 20 who bought? Wouldn't that be in a much better position to be in? So if you can design your substance plus that personal connection, that's going to equal a small but highly targeted, aligned audience. And when I say aligned audience, I mean aligned to the message you have and the solution you have for the challenges and the problems they have, and that's going to equal sales. If you are speaking to the right audience with the right solution, you are going to be amazed at how little it takes to make a lot more. Okay? So, choosing your audience and the people that you're talking to, what is that all about? Okay? Two things that I think are very, very important. One is you need to know who you are, right? You need to know what your vision and mission is. You need to know your vision and who you're going to impact, what you want to be in the future, who you want to impact in the future, what that really looks like. And then you need to know who your ideal customer avatar is. Now, quick freebie I want to give you. If you go to rondeering.com/ICA, you can download my ideal customer avatar worksheet. And it'll step you through some things that we're going to talk about here and how to fill that all out. And that way you have a really targeted idea. At the end of the day, what you want is your audience to be looking at you and reading and watching your videos and your content and saying, wow, Ron really knows who I am and the struggles I'm going through. Man, I got to connect with them. Right? So you got to know your vision and your mission and your ICA, right? What their name is. And I don't mean you need to know everybody's name, but I name them. I used to do this exercise with people, and this is actually wrong. It's called ICA, just rondeering.com/ICA. Actually, you'll be able to go to ICA worksheet. But I used to name them. I used to give people this exercise where you'd sit down and you actually name it, like, hey, John Doe or, Sally or whatever. You don't even need a last name. And then what age group are they in? What's their gender? And I don't know how important gender is anymore in this day and age, but what their gender, their occupation, their background, their dreams, their passions, their challenges, personalities, tastes, who they hang out with, what do they like to do for fun? All of these things. And if you can put that all together and really take the time to go through this worksheet, I promise you'll have a much better understanding of the people that you're speaking to. Okay? You don't want to sound like everybody else, right? Because that's what everybody's doing. I remember hearing a quote from a gentleman, Earl Nightingale, many, many years ago. Earl Nightingale is passed away quite a long time ago, long before I was even born, I think. But one of the things he said, if you don't have a system or a plan for your marketing or whatever, figure out what everybody else is doing. Look out there and see what everybody else is doing and do exactly the opposite. You don't want to sound like everybody else, right? You want to figure out exactly who your correct ideal customer avatar is and speak to them. Whoever that is, you want to develop that relationship. Doesn't need to be a lot, right? Now, if you start putting out content that is targeted to these people, you're going to start drawing them in like a magnet, right? All of a sudden, you're going to find out that, wow, I've only got 500 subscribers, but all of these people are on the same page. They have the same challenges for the same solutions that I offer. I will take that any day over having 10,000 subscribers of people who are all over the place and have no idea what they want or what I'm offering and so forth. Because those targeted 500 people are your posse or your group or your peeps, right? Those are the people that understand what you're saying and love the solutions that you're giving them because of the challenges they have. Okay? So how do I find my audience? How do I find my peeps? How do I find those people that I need to be talking to? Okay? Well, what would you do if you wanted to find what you want? Right? So if you look at your habits, what would you do if you were looking for something, you were struggling with something, maybe you needed some technical help, or maybe you really wanted to figure out how to find out who your ideal customer avatar is. Maybe you really wanted to figure out, how to build a homemade fence in your backyard, right? Well, you're going to start by searching Google, and then you're going to find some people, and you're going to check out their site. And you're going to look at their site and you're going to see, okay, I'm going to look at the about, the content, offerings, pricings. Maybe it's a blog post. Maybe it's some emails. You're going to start doing your due diligence and your searching, right? And you know what you do. So by knowing what you do when you go out there and look, right, you're going to know what other people are looking for. So when you understand what it is that people are really looking for when they go out and search, you'll need to know what you need to have in place. So what you need to have in place to be discovered. So if I go back here and I say, okay, they're going to search Google, they're going to check out my site, maybe they're going to look at a blog post. These are keys, right? So what do I need to have in place to be discovered? Well, first, and I know some of you are going to go, oh no, I knew it, here it comes. You need a website. And I in a course that I have, and I will talk about that at the end, but in a course that I just launched not too long ago, one of the things that I talk about is, do you need a website? And the answer is, no, you don't need a website. If you want to market through social media and everything, you don't need a website. But if you really, really want to build a business, look at the clues that are out there. If I want to go find out about Tony Robbins, I go to TonyRobbins.com. I go to Tony Robbins' website, right? I go to Amy Porterfield, Grant Cardone. I go to Walmart's. I go to Amazon's. I go to their website. And if you take the time to build a website so people can know, like, and trust you, find out who you are, find out how to get a hold of you and so forth, and take the time to, optimize the SEO. You don't need to be an SEO expert, but at least put some effort into doing that. You'll be amazed, right? The next thing you need is a body of work or some content. Some blogs, some maybe a portfolio if you're into photography, or maybe some testimonies of people that you've helped, some courses that you offer, some freebies and so forth that are out there. You need to have the about. Doesn't need to be extensive, but people need to know who you are. They need to figure out what your personality is. People connect with those they know, like, and trust. And if they don't figure that out, and they can't figure that out, they won't connect. Free content. I hear this all the time with people. It's like, I can't understand why, I'm not making connections, because you're never giving value away. You're never giving anything free. It's always pitch, 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 right? But you need to have some things out there that are free and that are great and valuable, that people love. That people look at it and go, wow, Ron is always giving me free value. I wonder what his paid stuff is. I heard someone say not long ago that they give away their best stuff for free, because it really connects with people, and people start to really know, like, and trust you. An email list. This is probably should be number one, but it's probably the most important thing that you need to have in your business. You need to have an email list. You need to build an email list. And how do you do that? With free content, with people joining a newsletter, all kinds of different ways that you can build your email list. But if you can't build an email list, which is by far the most effective way to not only sell, but to build that know, like, and trust, build that connection, build those relationships, you're going to be struggling. We know that people don't purchase the first time they see something. It takes 5 to 7 times or more, even, depending on the economy and what's going on. And if you don't have them on your email list where you can continually connect with them, continually give them value, you're going to be losing out. And they're just going to go to that social media thing, and the next person that hits in front of them, in this fast-paced social media world, is going to end up getting the sale instead of you. Okay? And continue to be of value. I can't stress this enough. Your hero in your story, your customer, your prospect, your prospective client, should always think of you as that person of value that they can go to. That whatever's going on, they know that you're always going to give them value. Do you have things to buy? Absolutely. And they're going to be packed with value. But you need to always put the hero first, and you be the guide. Yeah, and a quick plug for Donald Miller's book, Building Your Story Brand. If you have not read that, if you don't have it on Kindle or audio, or got the book, have the book in your bookshelf, you are missing out. He talks about the hero and the guide. They're the hero, you're the guide. You're not the hero. So spouting all of your accolades doesn't do them any good. They want to know how you can guide them and you can continue to be of value. And then you sell, obviously. You need to be selling because that's what you need for your business to continue to grow and for you to continue to make money and support your own family. But if you put all these things together, it works. This is how you get discovered out there. When people go out and are looking for things, and when you go out and look for things, you either go to Google or to YouTube 90% of the time. Very seldom do you go to social media. We just know statistically that's not the case. Most people go to Google and YouTube, the two largest search engines that are out there. And what gets discovered out there? Websites, videos, podcasts, blogs, evergreen content. All right, so again, you can be throwing it out like spaghetti. You can be doing the social media thing. Again, if it's working for you, that's amazing, awesome. But for me, it was like throwing spaghetti up on the wall. I had to have thousands. People, always said when I was in network marketing, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Of course it is a numbers game. If all you're doing is just throwing things up against the wall and hoping for what will stick, right? It's like you're standing on the side of a highway and you're tossing out flyers or screaming to everybody. And guess what? Everybody else and their neighbor is doing the same exact thing. And everybody's passing by at 90 miles an hour and you're all going, buy this, please. Look at what I have. It's crazy. But I can't tell you how many people are just stuck in this rat race of social media marketing. Again, if it's working for you, that's great. But for most people, it's a struggle and it's stressful, right? So how do you build your business infrastructure? Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. Building your business infrastructure, what you need. Well, you need a website, an email list, and a lead magnet. Now, you need a website because people need your presence, right? There's success leaves clues. If you go out there and look at the people that are the big time marketers, the successful long-term businesses out there, they all have a website, okay? Sorry about that. Dog hair. If I want to know about TonyRobbins.com, I go to TonyRobbins.com. If I want to know about Grant Cardone, I go to GrantCardone.com, and so forth. Then I need an email list. The email list is the power and the money of your business, right? If you don't have an email list, if you're not building an email list, you are missing out on your business. And then the last thing is a lead magnet. And what's a lead magnet? A lead magnet is designed to build that email list by giving out value, that quid pro quo. I'm going to give you value. All I need is your name and email, right? Okay, so why a website? Stable home for your business, an asset you own and control, right? And if you've ever been on social media and got kicked off, you know how frustrating it is. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were stressed out because TikTok may be, shut down in the United States, and that's all they have. Or I can't tell you how many people I chat with that have been kicked off of TikTok and they've lost everything, and they've built their whole business on that, right? And they have no control over it. And they get frustrated because I'm putting out all these, TikTok videos, these short videos, and on Instagram and everything. And it's like nobody's seen them. And you're right, because you don't have control of it. A website can be optimized for search engines so that you can control where you end up when people do a search on what you offer, right? And it puts everything about you all in one place in as much or as little detail as you want. But you, again, have control. It's an asset for you. Why an email list? Well, again, it's the most reliable form of communication we have. Statistically, first thing they do when they get up in the morning is look at their email, not social media. They're always checking emails to find out what's going on. 40 to 60% of all sales during the holiday seasons this last year in 2023 were done through emails. I can't tell you how many things people buy because they get an email from someone that they trust. Okay? It's a guaranteed reach. There is no algorithm out there deciding which one of your emails get sent out to people. They're going to go out. Now, doesn't guarantee people are going to open them, doesn't guarantee that people are going to click on the links and buy anything else, but the reach is out there. It's a personalized one-to-one communication, which is so, so important. When I send the email out, the first thing I say is, hey, Sally. And even though I know Sally gets it and goes, oh yeah, this email's gone out to everybody, it's got my name on it. It's got my name on it, right? That's personalized. This next one is, in my opinion, one of the most important things. It's owned by you. It's not on a platform. It's not owned by Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or any of those. It's owned by you. And if you decide to do something else, all you have to do is export your list. You've got it on your hard drive, on your computer, and you can import it into another program if you decide to collect emails in a different program. If you decide to do something different and you're still using the same email program, you still have those people that you can reach out to. You don't lose them because you decide to do something else, or the program that, let's say you're working with a network marketing company and you decide to switch. If you've been collecting the emails along the way instead of using their system to do it, you now have all those people and you don't lose them all, right? It's the most effective for sales, and kind of already touched on that. More people buy through emails than, I think the statistics, and don't quote me on this, but for last year's holiday season was like 40 to 60% email, 12% social media, right? And it's, in my opinion, the most valuable asset you have. You need to guard, nurture, connect, build that relationship with that email list. Why a lead magnet? Okay, this is really easy. Attract your audience. Give them some value out there. Water supplies guy. Okay, here's a great example. I can't tell you how many I see out there all the time with real estate. Realtors are prime for lead magnets, right? Seller's guide, how to stage your home, buyer's guide, the best markets to sell your house in or to buy a house in, so forth. And the other thing is it shows your personality. If you put these things together, they're easy to do. If you learn Canva, Canva is very easy to use, but there's all kinds of courses out there. In my new course, one of the things I offer is training on Canva and how to build PDFs and how to build lead magnets and all of that stuff, right? So you can build it in your own personality. It shows who you are because, again, you know who your ideal customer avatar is and you know what to do with that. Growing your audience. All right, so one way is to use social media, right? And again, because you have no control over it, you're out there prospecting to the masses and you might get one or two people, okay? The other way is to create searchable content. And I think this is a much better way because now you create searchable content and people go out there, Google, and they find you. Right? It's the difference between being the hunter and being the hunted. Which would you rather be? Would you like to wake up every morning and find that people are hunting you down because you've created great, searchable content that's SEO optimized, that is out looking at your target audience and so forth? You get a much, much better result from that. A better way is to create it, right? So we create content. Content can be in the form of a YouTube, blog, podcast, anything that can be searchable on the search engines, whether it's Bing, Google, whatever it might be. Obviously, Google's the big one, the elephant in the room, the gorilla in the room, right? You create searchable content. And I think one of the biggest things about this is all evergreen content. It stays there forever. I still get leads and still get people coming to my website from content I created not months ago, not minutes ago, not seconds ago like social media, but years ago. That's still out there on the search engines. This is searchable content that's evergreen, that stays out there forever. Social media is 90 miles an hour, right? If you haven't experienced this, I hope you don't have to, but I can't tell you how many times my wife and I are talking and she'll say, honey, I found this thing. Give me a second here. I got to finish this and I'll show you. And then she says, okay, now I can't find it. And I look and she's over there, just scrolling away. I know it's here somewhere because everything goes so fast. Your feeds are just 90 miles an hour. And if you have a lot of people, like you have 1,000 people that you're connected with, it even goes faster and faster. I'll look at something on Instagram and turn my head and come back and it's like, okay, where did it go? I got to figure out where it is now. Searchable content that is evergreen, stays around forever. All right. So what is good content? Well, let's go to the opposite first. Let's look at ineffective content, right? It doesn't provide much real or lasting satisfaction, or it's just somebody doing a dance on TikTok, or even if it's a YouTube video you do that just doesn't create lasting. Isn't serving your intended audience, right? And my intended audience is, for me, it's people that have a passion in life, want to get an education and understanding how to take that passion to profit so they can do what they love for the rest of their life. Well, if I start putting out stuff about recipes on Chinese food, right, it's not serving my intended audience. It's easily lost or forgotten. Okay, that goes back to where the content, what content you're putting out there. If it's evergreen content, that doesn't happen. It relies on quantity over quality. I think that's what I love most about not having to be on social media, because I can put quality out there instead of just quantity. I just got to put a ton of stuff out, right? It relies on trends and current events. It's just not effective. Trends are changing minutely these days. Current events are going crazy. And if you're doing something like that, especially on social media, you are working to death. It lacks your personality. It's self-centered. It's all about you and what success you've had. It just touches on this very superficial, touches on the surface, and it just oversimplifies everything. Makes it so easy that it just seems like, man, this was so easy. Why? Okay, that's kind of ineffective content. So let's look at effective content. It is truly helpful. It's original. It's evergreen, and it relies on quality over content. Doesn't take much. These are things that everybody can do. You're really helping your target audience, assuming you know who they are, right? Get that worksheet. RonDeering.com/ICA worksheet. Get that worksheet. It'll help you out immensely. Create content like YouTube videos, like blogs, like podcasts that are evergreen, that are searchable, will be around for a very long time. So here are some questions I might ask, right? What resource would I have wanted to find when I was in my client situation? Right, so now I'm asking these questions as a client. Right? What resources would I have wanted? These are questions that you can answer. Right? What is the advice I would have most needed to hear when I was in my client situation? Again, this is the advice that you can give if you know these things. What resource could I keep sending people for years to come? In other words, what evergreen content can I put together that I know that this resource is going to be used for years and years to come, right? And asking these questions, and there's a lot of questions you could ask, but asking these kind of questions will help you understand what kind of content to put out there. Oops. Okay. Discover channels, right? Blog and YouTube. Again, if I look, here's my email list that is being built from my blog, from my YouTube videos, from what I call discovery channels or discover channels that allow people to discover me because it's searchable content, content that stays out there forever. It's evergreen, right? And that leads them back to my list, which I want to continually keep growing. All right, I know this has been long, but here's the conclusion. Here's what I want you to remember, right? The bottom line is that what works for me and others may not even work for you. And it may not work for you. And I always want to caution people that go out there and they're listening to people, and even what I'm sharing with you, that, I made thousands of dollars my first 30 seconds in the business, and if you do what I do, you can do the same thing. You don't know that. First off, you don't know if that's even true. You don't know if what they do is going to work for you. And even if it does work for you, it may not be where your heart is. It may not be your vision. It may not be what you really want to do to build your business, right? So you have to find out what works best for you and then become a master of it. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Figure out what it is for you. For me, I'm getting away from social media because I want to put out content that is tailored to my target audience that I can really hone in on, and I can put out some evergreen, searchable content that talk to my audience. It's a vast landscape of countless avenues. People have got hundreds of different ideas. The most valuable advice I can offer you is this: be yourself and be unique when it comes to what others are doing. Break away from the crowd. Find out what everybody else is doing, as Earl Nightingale has said, and do exactly the opposite. Now, I want to leave you with this one last thing, and I don't have a slide for it, but I want you to go check out rondeering.com/bootcamp. I put together a course that I believe will help you get the basics down. You're not going to make millions of dollars off it. You might, you may not, but I believe will help you get the basics of taking your passion to something other than just a hobby, and allow you to take that passion to profit and start doing what you love for a business and for the rest of your life. I've got a summer deal going on right now. It's typically $97. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I got a summer deal right now that is $50 off. So for $47, you can get access to this course. I've got a whole module on network marketers and how you can help them. I'm going to be putting at least 1 to 2 videos uploaded into the back office of this course every week for the next month. I'm also going to be doing once a month masterminds so that you can pick my brain. I'm going to try to get other experts on and other leaders on to help you out for $47. If this is something that might help you, please check it out. Go to rondeering.com/bootcamp. And I can't wait to see you on the next one.